A nice day trip, if you're in Jerusalem, is every Thursday you've got a fair of secondhand good stuff. In fact, I did promise you yesterday I'll show you the train. This is what the train looks like. They come every 5 minutes in both directions. They cover approximately 1/3 of the city. At this time of the day, which is pretty close to 5 o'clock, they're packed. You could say they're like sardines. And this is the fair. So this is the second-hand store, antiques, trinkets and jinkets and a bunch of other stuff. So you're more than welcome to come here and buy up the storm. It's been going on for years. A very good friend of mine named Norman has a store. He does those door posts that say your name. It says welcome in wood. Let's see if Norman is here. He's been here for years. This is Binyan Cloud. The exit we're talking about is Davidka Street, which is right between the Shuk and central Jerusalem, but it's really all central Jerusalem. You're walking distance from the Shuk, about a half a kilometer. You're also walking distance from the Kikar Tzion, which I visited a couple of days ago. The one stop after that is Mamela. Generally, Norman is sitting here right close to the building. This is generally Norman's place. He's from Canada, Ottawa. He's been here, I believe, for 40, 50 years. He's pushing 80 years old. He's in his 70s, so definitely a nice little day trip. Bring a big shopping bag and you'll probably find some really good deals. A lot of the stores have closed up already, but there's still quite a few here. And if we walk a little bit going down the hill towards the old city, you'll see a couple more secondhand stores here. These are just simple clothes. The city's always trying to figure out ways to make it interesting, so they came up with this artwork, photography exhibition right here in a public place right next to the train stop. And this is one of the newer construction buildings. I believe that's a 24-story tower. Luxury living, those things go for well over $1 million for each apartment. And these apartments obviously do not go for over $1 million per apartment, but eventually these buildings will be torn down and luxury towers, expensive places are going to be put up in its place. I've seen the signs, the plans are already ready. Right now there's a big bottleneck when you come to Jerusalem from Tel Aviv or the airport, because the fast train only stops in one place, which is the central bus station. But the plans are to have a second station, then a third station. The second station we are walking to, which will be between Davidka Street and King George, which is, they say, central Jerusalem. And I already saw them put up the sign for the construction, which we'll get to momentarily. For the most part, each of these light rail trains are a half a kilometer away, which is not very far. And this is a building. These buildings are going to be turned down. That's at the corner there was a place called Abraham's Hostel. That was their original. And now they turned it into a student hall because not enough tourists were coming during the Corona, then the war. Very soon we're going to get to the new central Tel Aviv, central Jerusalem fast train to Tel Aviv. Then we'll get to King George Street, which is the big intersection at the corner. And in essence, the difference between one light rail station to another is a very short distance away. But really the only exciting places, I should say the most exciting and people-friendly places in this city are right here between the Shuk and the Old City. That's really where most of the tourists are coming, where people are looking for something interesting. So right here we see it says Tachana Yerushalayim Merkaz. This seems to be the new central the new train station that they're going to put up here that will take you to Tel Aviv. The big problem with the central bus station, train station to Tel Aviv, there's only 3 elevators there, and you have to go really far down to get to the train. And if you've noticed, from the central bus station to here, it's all downhill. So the decline to actually get to the train will not be as intense. It won't be so deep. So you could probably get there by stairs and not just by elevator. This is another train. As I mentioned, they do come every 5 minutes during rush hour. And let's see if they're packed like sardines here. And it doesn't look so terrible. If I was to bet my bottom dollar, those stairs we're looking at in the background, that will be one of the entrances to get to the train to Tel Aviv. Again, another new construction building here. And I believe I was not exaggerating when I say these trains come every 5 minutes during the peak hours, which is really the entire day. This was a dilapidated building. They put up a 8-9-story building with shops on the bottom floor. There's the tail end. This building got built pretty quick. Israel, or I should say Jerusalem, is notorious for taking a ton of time for each construction project. And we're just gonna walk to the King George Street, which is a cut-through street, which really takes you through the entire city. This is going to be, in a couple of years, this is going to be a pedestrian walkway, because they're going to have a train from the northern end of the city to the southern, which is going to cut right through here. It's going to go underground as